What happens when a powerful bishop calls out one of the most respected pastors in America? Not for theology, not for doctrine, but for ignoring the real pain people are living through. Bishop Deon K. Johnson has just sent a fiery warning to Dr. Tony Evans, and it's shaking the church community to its core. This isn't just another pulpit debate, okay? This is about whose voice truly speaks for the struggles people are facing today. And trust me, you won't believe the words that were exchanged or the hidden truths behind them. Now, if you've been keeping an eye on the faith community lately, you know tensions are running high, but few moments have stirred as much conversation as the recent warning issued by Bishop Deon K. Johnson to Dr. Tony Evans. This isn't your everyday theological disagreement. It's a direct challenge that raises serious questions about the role of pastors and bishops in addressing their realities people face outside of Sunday sermons. For decades, Dr. Tony Evans has been regarded as one of the most influential pastors in the evangelical world. His books, his sermons, and his radio programs have reached millions of listeners around the globe. Too Many here presents a steady, traditional biblical voice in a world that feels increasingly divided. But Bishop Deon K. Johnson isn't impressed. In fact, he's warning that Dr. Evans' influence, while powerful, is dangerously disconnected from the real struggles people are facing. Right now, according to Johnson, big platforms and polished messages mean nothing if they fail to address real pain, systemic injustice, and the lived experiences of the very people the church claims to serve. And that's where this story gets interesting. Because when a bishop goes public with this kind of warning, it's not just about one leader versus another. It becomes a conversation about accountability, responsibility, and whether the church is truly doing its job in a world filled with division, grief, and brokenness. So, in this video, we're breaking it all down. We'll look at who Bishop Johnson is and why his words matter. We'll explore Dr. Tony Evans' influence and the message that has made him beloved by millions. We'll examine the heart of Johnson's criticism and why it's striking such a nerve. And most importantly, we'll uncover what this clash reveals about the state of modern Christianity. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to see this situation in a whole new light. Because when bishops and pastors collide, the ripple effects don't just stay in the church, they echo across entire communities. To really understand why Bishop Deon Johnson's warning to Dr. Tony Evans matters, we first need to look at who Bishop Johnson is and what he represents in today's faith landscape. Born in Barbados and raised in a culture that blended tradition, resilience, and spirituality, Deon K. Johnson's journey to becoming the bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Missouri is nothing short of remarkable. His election in 2019 was historic, not only because he became the first Black bishop to lead the Missouri Diocese, but also because he was the first openly gay bishop to hold this position. His story represents more than just personal success. It reflects a broader shift in what leadership looks like in the modern church. For many, Bishop Johnson embodies a new generation of faith leaders who refuse to shy away from hard conversations. He doesn't just stand at the pulpit delivering neatly packaged sermons. He enters into the messy realities of human life. Conversations about race, justice, sexuality, poverty, and the deep emotional struggles that so many churchgoers quietly carry. His ministry challenges the old model of separating spirituality from social realities. Instead, he insists that faith must confront what's happening in the streets, in broken families, and in divided communities. This is part of what makes his warning to Dr. Tony Evans so powerful. Johnson is not speaking as an outsider throwing stones at a popular preacher. He is speaking as someone deeply embedded in the life of the church, someone who knows what it's like to lead, to be judged, to face criticism, and still hold on to a message of hope and justice. His voice carries the weight of lived experience and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths. And this isn't the first time Bishop Johnson has stirred. Since stepping into leadership, he has consistently emphasized that the church must become more than just a place of worship on Sundays. He has urged believers to step outside the stained glass windows and confront racism, systemic inequality, and the silent suffering many people endure. For Johnson, preaching about heaven while ignoring the pain on earth is a betrayal of the gospel itself. That's why his challenge to Dr. Tony Evans lands with such intensity. Evans, a respected figure with a massive global platform, has the ability to shape how millions of Christians think and live. But according to Johnson, if that platform fails to engage the raw pain of real life, if it becomes more about image than about impact, then it risks becoming hollow. And in Bishop Johnson's eyes, that is too dangerous to ignore. So when Johnson stands up and says, "Your platform Dawsons cover real pain," he's not just taking a jab. He's issuing a call for accountability. That stretches far beyond Evans himself. He's reminding every pastor, every bishop, and every Christian leader that leadership is not about fame or influence. It's about whether you are truly standing with people in their darkest hours. But this brings us to a crucial question. Who, exactly, is Dr. Tony Evans? And why does his voice hold such a powerful grip on the Christian community? Because before we can understand the clash, we need to understand the influence. To grasp why Bishop Deon K. Johnson's words stirred such controversy, we have to understand the power and legacy of the man he addressed, Dr. Tony Evans. Dr. Evans is not just another preacher with a congregation. He is one of the most influential Christian leaders of our time. He is the founder and senior pastor of Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship in Dallas, Texas, a mega church that has grown from just 10 people in 1976 to over 10,000 members today. Beyond that, he is the founder of the Urban Alternative, a massive outreach ministry that uses radio, television, books, and digital platforms to reach millions of believers worldwide. His voice has become a familiar one across Christian households. Whether through his daily sermons broadcast on over 1,400 radio outlets, his best-selling books, or his appearances at national conferences. What makes Tony Evans unique is his ability to bridge audiences. He speaks to conservative evangelicals, African-American churches, and mainstream Christian circles all at once. His messages emphasize biblical authority, kingdom living, and family values. He has written extensively on subjects like marriage, manhood, and spiritual leadership, often positioning himself as a father figure, not only to his congregation, but to believers across the globe. Evans has also broken barriers. He was the first African American to publish a full Bible commentary and study Bible through a major Christian publisher, making him a trailblazer in evangelical scholarship. His emphasis on kingdom agenda, the belief that Christians should bring God's kingdom principles into every area of life, from politics to family to community, has become a cornerstone of his ministry and teaching. But with great influence comes great responsibility and scrutiny. For years, Evans has been praised for his clarity, his strong moral teachings, and his ability to inspire. Yet some critics argue that his messages, while powerful, can sometimes bypass the deeper issues of trauma, systemic injustice, and personal suffering that many in his audience carry. They see his platform as polished, effective, and inspiring, but at times lacking the rawness of lived pain. And this is precisely the gap Bishop Johnson points out. Consider this. When Dr. Evans lost his beloved wife Lois in 2019 after a long battle with cancer, millions watched how he processed grief publicly. His vulnerability during that time inspired many. But it also raised questions. If Evans could be so transparent in his personal grief, why do critics like Bishop Johnson feel that his broader platform doesn't adequately reflect or engage with the collective grief and struggles of the church at large? The answer lies in how Evans has chosen to frame his ministry. His brand of preaching is deeply rooted in biblical principles, often with a focus on overcoming challenges through faith, prayer, and spiritual discipline. While this resonates with millions, it can sometimes feel disconnected from the harsh realities of poverty, racial injustice, or generational trauma. Issues, Bishop Johnson insists, cannot be ignored. This is where the tension begins to simmer. On one hand, you have Dr. Tony Evans, a widely respected spiritual father whose teachings have shaped the lives of countless believers, pastors, and leaders. On the other, you have Bishop Deon K. Johnson, a progressive and socially conscious voice insisting that preaching without confronting real pain is insufficient. Their clash is not just about two men of faith disagreeing. It's about two visions of what the church should be in today's world. And here's where it gets even more interesting.